Spring in western New York isn't exactly sunshine and daffodils, right? We've got the windstorms, big temperature swings, and of course, those last-minute dumps of plaster-like snow. Those are all relatively predictable, but when it comes to ice jams, yeah, that's another beast. I'm explaining the science behind that in this week's Heather's Weather Wise. Around this time of the year, meteorologists and hydrologists alike pay special attention to any waterways that have ice sitting on top of them. That's because as temperatures rise heading into spring, you've got runoff from melting snow and new rainfall that's causing creek levels to rise, and that's putting added pressure on the ice, potentially creating the ice jams. Now, the ice jams themselves can form in a matter of hours or a couple of days, but the conditions that come together for them to happen can span weeks or even months. In order for an ice jam to form, you need ice. That means you need a stretch of weather with temperatures well below freezing and without a whole lot of wind. The deeper the waterway or the faster its current, the more intense, long-lasting the cold snap needs to be. And of course, the longer the cold lasts, the thicker the ice gets. The ice building up isn't a problem, but the way it melts down certainly can be. As air temperatures rise, snowpack melts down and precipitation tends to fall as rain. All of that water runs off into the ice-covered waterways. That runoff forces rivers and creeks to swell and rise. That rising water puts pressure on the ice from below. Remember, that ice is already melting on its own in the milder air. If there's enough pressure, the ice cracks and flows downstream until it hits a bottleneck and jams up. That bottleneck can be a turn in the waterway or an area where the water suddenly becomes a lot more shallow. And if the ice is moving in a fast enough current, it can do quite a bit of damage. But damage doesn't just happen at the ice jam site. Water builds up behind the dam, and that can cause flooding to a pretty big area. Backed up water can cause widespread flooding that doesn't recede until the dam itself breaks up. Anyone that lives near Buffalo or Cazenovia Creeks knows exactly what I'm talking about. Those tend to be two trouble spots just about every spring in the western New York area. Of course, a lot of ice ends up in the Niagara River too, but we've got two pretty good defense systems against ice jams in that area. That, of course, would be the ice boom and the cotter. You may have seen the cotter riding up the Niagara this time of the year. It goes along and breaks up ice, preventing jamming downriver. The boat may look small, but it can power through ice up to 2 feet thick. So that's how the ice jams come about. But remember, a long cold winter with a lot of river ice doesn't exactly spell trouble for an ice jam later. It's all about how the ice is melting in the spring. If we enjoy a slow, gradual thaw, the ice melts away gradually and limits the potential for big chunks to break up and float away. That's it for this week's Heather's Weather Wise. I'll see you next week with a new topic, but until then, remember, it's good to be a geek.